Another interesting question is, does the resurrection necessarily have to take place after all of this sequence of events that we've described? Meaning, does it necessarily have to wait for the coming of Mashiach, the ingathering of the exile, the rebuilding of the temple, setting in the Messianic era, at the end of which only will you have resurrection? Or is it possible to have resurrection taking place earlier, a type of pre-resurrection? So there are sources which indicate that even though there's going to be a general resurrection at the very end that we've been speaking about until now, there's still going to be this pre-resurrection. Who's going to merit being part of the pre-resurrection? So some of those sources say that the very special righteous individuals will merit being resurrected early on as a reward for their great service of God and the fact that they lived their entire lives with the anticipation and the hope that there would be a resurrection. They merit being resurrected early to see all of these events take place. It's part of their reward for desiring that outcome. They're actually resurrected earlier in order to see it. The Midrash Rabbah at the end of Parshas Ekev says that Moshe Rabbeinu will also be resurrected earlier together with Eliyahu Hanavi in order to accompany the arrival of the Mashiach, applying that they'll be resurrected earlier. Tosfos and Psachim, page 114b, and other sources as well, mention that not only Moshe, but also Aaron and his sons will be resurrected earlier as well. And the reason is that Moshe will have to be there to help guide the Mashiach with Torah teachings, and Aaron and his sons will be there in order to help inaugurate the temple service, which is built by the Mashiach. But again, you see this idea that certain individuals will be resurrected even early on, before the general resurrection takes place. Another midrash actually says that one of the reasons why Moses was buried in the desert and didn't come into the land of Israel was so that he and his entire generation should be resurrected in order to come back into the land of Israel and welcome and greet the coming of the Mashiach. So if you combine all of these sources together, you see that certain righteous individuals, including, for example, Moshe and Aaron and the sons, and even the whole generation of those who wandered in the wilderness, all of these people are potentially going to be resurrected earlier on, even at the beginning of the revelation of Mashiach and even before the ingathering of the exiles and the building of the temple. There will be these resurrected people living among those who are living at that time. That's a very interesting point, and it raises the question,